Picture this. You wake up one morning, walk to the beach, and instead of waves crashing, you hear a thick, sticky glop. The entire ocean has turned into chocolate. The air smells like a dessert buffet, seagulls are covered in cocoa, and every kid on the planet suddenly wants to move to the coast. Sounds like heaven, right? Well, only until you realize the whole planet just turned into one giant fondue problem. First of all, let's talk science before the sugar rush hits. The ocean holds about 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water. That's one with 9 zeros after it. If all that magically turned into chocolate, not chocolate milk, mind you, but thick, gooey, melted chocolate, we're talking about the stickiest apocalypse in history. Ships wouldn't sail. They'd sink like cookies in hot cocoa. The Titanic? That was ice. This would be dense fudge doom. Let's start with the fish. Poor things. Marine life would have approximately 0.2 seconds to realize their lives are over. Fish breathe oxygen dissolved in water. In chocolate, no oxygen. So before Nemo can even say, "Oh no," he's basically swimming in dessert. Permanently. The ocean would become one massive graveyard of cocoa-coated clams. On the bright side, at least the smell of dead fish would be overpowered by the scent of chocolate. A little win for humanity, I guess. Now, temperature. The average ocean temperature is around 17 degrees Celsius. Melted chocolate needs at least 30 degrees Celsius to stay liquid. So unless Earth suddenly gets a planetary fever, that chocolate ocean's gonna harden fast. Imagine entire coastlines freezing over in layers of solid chocolate. Congratulations! You've just invented continent-sized chocolate bars. Good luck getting to your boat. It's now trapped inside a Snickers shell. Let's not forget the tides. Tides are caused by the moon pulling on water's gravity, but chocolate is denser than water, about 1.3 times heavier. That means if the moon tried to pull this sticky mess, it'd move slower than your motivation on Monday morning. We'd basically lose tides. And tides are important, not just for surfers, but for Earth's ecosystem. Without tides, beaches wouldn't get oxygen flow, plankton wouldn't spread, and coastal life would collapse. The ocean isn't just pretty, it's a vital part of life. Replace it with dessert, and you've just turned evolution into a blooper reel. But wait, it gets worse. You know the water cycle, right? Evaporation, clouds, rain, repeat. Yeah, chocolate doesn't evaporate. There goes your rain. Without water vapor, clouds disappear. Without clouds, no rain. Without rain, no crops. So in about a few weeks, the whole planet starts to dry up like a forgotten brownie. Forests burn, rivers shrink, and you'd be standing under a sky that never cries again, unless you count the tears of every climate scientist screaming in despair. And yet, humanity being humanity, someone will find a way to make this a business opportunity. Chocolate companies would lose their minds. Sustainable ocean harvesting, they'll call it. People would start mining the ocean like a buffet. There'd be billionaires flying drones over the Pacific trying to scoop Hershey-branded sludge into jars. Influencers on TikTok would be like, "I'm making skincare from Pacific Ocean chocolate. It's so hydrating." Meanwhile, a dolphin corpse floats behind them. Of course, tourism would go wild. For the first 2 days, every beach becomes Willy Wonka's nightmare. Tourists would rush in with buckets and spoons, but by day 3, the chocolate would start to rot. Bacteria love sugar. Imagine entire coastlines bubbling with fermenting chocolate mousse. The smell would go from sweet to sour chocolate death. Congratulations, paradise has expired. And speaking of smell, can you imagine? The wind across the world would carry cocoa scent everywhere. At first, it would be magical. People would walk outside like, smells like brownies. But after a few days, instant nausea, chocolate perfume overload. Even mosquitoes would give up biting. Too much sugar in the air.
The weather wouldn't survive either. The ocean regulates Earth's temperature by absorbing heat and circulating it through currents. Chocolate doesn't flow like that. It's thick, slow, and sticky. Without those ocean currents, weather patterns collapse. Some places would freeze, others would burn. Welcome to Global Meltdown, the dessert edition. And the sea level? Well, since chocolate is denser, technically the level would rise slightly, maybe a few meters, flooding some areas with cocoa mud. Imagine skyscrapers sticking out of chocolate swamps. The Eiffel Tower becomes a fondue stick. The Statue of Liberty holds a spoon instead of a torch. Meanwhile, scientists would be losing their collective minds. They'd be arguing over questions like, can we still desalinate chocolate? Or, is there a climate emergency emoji? NASA would be like, forget Mars, let's find a planet that still has water. And humanity being humanity, someone will try to drink it. There will be that one guy with a cup at the beach yelling, "Bro, free chocolate!" And 2 minutes later, he'll be hospitalized for consuming half a liter of bacteria soup. TikTok will love it. Now, you might think this entire scenario is ridiculous, which it is, but there's a reason our oceans being water is such a miracle. Water is the perfect liquid for life. It dissolves nutrients, regulates temperature, and cycles endlessly. If the ocean were anything else, life as we know it wouldn't exist. Even if it's chocolate, something that makes us happy on land, it would destroy the balance instantly. Sweet, but deadly. Still, it's fun to imagine, right? Maybe we'd develop new creatures. Cocoa whales that burp chocolate bubbles. Candy crabs that pinch marshmallows. Humanity might even evolve to drink molten chocolate instead of water, until we realize diabetes has gone interplanetary. And you know what's ironic? Even though this entire scenario would wipe out life as we know it, people would still fight over whose brand of chocolate ocean is healthier. Someone will say, I only swim in organic chocolate, no preservatives. While another goes, dude, I only bathe in dark chocolate, milk chocolates for peasants. So, could a chocolate ocean exist? In short, no. The physics don't work. The biology dies, and the planet would collapse. But it's a fun thought, because it reminds us how precious water really is, and how the smallest change could melt everything we know. Pun totally intended. So next time you stir cocoa powder into milk and think, wow, imagine if the whole sea was like this. Remember, you wouldn't be sipping paradise, you'd be living in a sticky, sun-baked, smelly mess. Maybe stick with your cup, instead of turning the planet into dessert. And if you want to know what other wild, what-if scenarios could actually happen, like what if gravity turned off for a day, or if humans could breathe underwater, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Wiseuse for more fun science that's both sweet and smart. Now excuse me, I suddenly crave hot chocolate. Thanks, imagination.